thank you for being on this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We share a lot of things in common, okay?
Birthday?
Our birthday, the same day, same year.
No, not same day.
No, not same day.
month.
Same month, same year. We
Dragons.
both held high positions in Japan. You were president of the American Chamber. And
You were president of the American Chamber.
Yeah, right, we were both president of the American Chamber. But we share that with one other person too, Don Kanak.
Yes.
And he's also born the same year.
Yeah.
We're all.
But in December.
He's in December. Yeah, he's the baby of us, right? Because you're October as well.
Right, 29th.
Yeah. So I'm the oldest because I'm October 6th. You're the 29th, and then Don's born in December.
And I have two sons that were born on the 25th, and a daughter that was born on the 8th.
You know something? That's something else we almost have in common because my son was born on the 25th of December.
Oh.
Can you believe this?
Payday.
Right, payday. And we're both Mormons. I'm not a Mormon. I'm just kidding. But I did take all 6 lessons years ago. Years ago, I took all 6 lessons because I wanted to know. I wanted to know about the religion, and I have to say, my wife paid me a compliment after our second child. This is going to make sense in a second. She said, "Why are you so good with kids?" And I felt, yeah. I said, because I asked people that I've seen that I like the way they work with their kids. There's a Mormon family I used to watch all the time, and all the Mormons I've met, Christian Science. The way they were with their kids and the way their kids were with them, I admired, so I'd always ask. So I actually went to ask about their religion as well. So that's how I found out about Mormonism. Because unfortunately or fortunately, you didn't come around my neighborhood when I was growing up. You weren't pedaling there. I didn't see a single elder riding his bicycle. So tell me about yourself. Tell me where you were raised.
Well, I was born in Salt Lake City, 9th South and 15th. Well, I was born in a hospital, but I grew up on what we call the East Bench. So most of my childhood was on 9th South and 15th East. Went to East High School. Went to the University of Utah.
Okay. Well, tell me, what the street that comes from the city office, or would they go straight down? What's the name?
The temple is the center.
The center, okay, right.
So there's the temple, the Mormon temple.
Right.
And then they count the streets going north, south, east, and west from the temple.
Right.
So 15th East and 9th South would be 15 streets over.
Right.
And 9 streets, 15 streets east and 9 streets south.
South, okay.
So.
Right. But what's the street from the camp? Because I met the mayor. And from the mayor's office, there's one street that goes straight down. There's cherry blossoms around and everything. I think it's one of the longest streets. It must be State Street. It's one of the longest streets.
Right. Main Street's not as long as State Street.
Right. How many streets go across? And also, I know that your state symbol is the honeycomb? Honeybee. Honey hive. Because that's something. They have a beehive there at the state capitol. Beehive and the bees. And then also inside, I saw Smith. Who was the founder?
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith. There's a big statue of him inside there. You didn't know that? You've never been inside the state capitol?
I have, but I don't remember the statue.
Yeah. And then I went to the mayor. Yeah. Or maybe the mayor's office. They did. They sure did.
Huh.
Well, come on. What do you mean they do that?
Church and state, they're supposed to be separate.
No, that is the whole state. It's your church there.
I think Utah is overall about 60% Mormon.
Okay.
But Salt Lake City is like 40.
Okay.
So last time I checked, the mayor of Salt Lake City was not a Mormon. And she was openly gay.
Now that
last time I checked.
No. So this is the most recent.
I don't know. It's been, I don't pay a lot of attention to that.
So what brought you? What brought you to Japan? Wait. First of all, how many children in your family? 'Cause
3.
Only 3.
Only 3, and 2 of them were twins. So my wife is overachiever.
I'm not talking about this. I mean, your family. Yes,
Okay.
you.
I have one brother and 3 sisters.
Okay, that makes more sense. 5. Yeah, that was a small family. Yeah.
My parents got married relatively late. They were 28.
Okay. And what? Were you the?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
Right.
And then did you have your brother after you?
I have a sister,
Mm-hmm.
and then my brother, and then 2 sisters.
Okay, how are they doing? Everyone's okay?
Well, my brother passed away, but my
Oh,
sisters
sorry
are
to hear
fine.
Okay. And your mother and father?
My dad died last month.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
So my mother died 28 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how old was your father when he passed?
97.
Wow.
Yeah, and he went quickly. He went suddenly.
So it was really nice. So but he was healthy up until then.
No, he had a lot of difficulty. He had cancer twice. He had a stroke.
Okay.
He had COVID, survived.
Okay.
But let's see, on Memorial Day,
Mm-hmm.
he passed away very suddenly.
Okay.
So,
Mm.
it's always sad when someone dies, but he was 97 years old and had
So
a very
you-
good life.
Mm-hmm.
World War II veteran, Battle of the Bulge. His wife likes to say he was at Normandy, but that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
They got into the funeral. But
Yeah.
he wasn't at Normandy. He was in England at the time and came later
Mm-hmm.
after the invasion.
Mhm.
But he was in France and Belgium and Germany.
Mm. Did you speak any of the languages?
He was a military policeman, so he didn't actually have to do any fighting,
Mm-hmm.
but he did have to guard the prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a small child, he used to talk to us in German and say "schnell, schnell." He knew how to say "be quiet" and "stay in line."
Mm. And you'd use that.
So at bedtime, he'd do that.
Do you have any of that ancestry? Do you know your lineage?
I do.
Okay.
You
So
wanna hear
what
it?
is it? Yeah, sure, of course. That's what this is all
I have
about.
an ancestor who was on the Mayflower.
Okay.
Um,
What ethnicity? I mean, what that's what I'm talking about. Just because you're a Mayflower, there were a lot of people in the Mayflower.
well, John Howland was his
Okay.
name.
Uh-huh.
He was an indentured servant,
Okay.
not a Puritan, and he was on the Mayflower. My first ancestor named Smith was Robert Smith.
Are
And he
these
came-
English people? Are
Yeah,
they
they're
English? They're all
English.
English. Okay.
Yeah. So he came on the Griffin in 1638, landed in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
He was 12 years old, and he was an indentured servant.
Okay.
And all my ancestry is it's very interesting because Mormons do genealogy.
Mhm.
So
They have one of the biggest in the world.
I'm mostly English, some Scottish, some Irish, and my grandfather was Swedish. So you do your DNA analysis and it comes out, and it's just what I thought it'd be.
It was. Yes.
Yeah, except I'm 17% French.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Somebody snuck in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Maybe it's a mistake in the DNA test.
Did you do that? Well, how long ago was that? Have you done
It's
a
been
recent
a few
one?
years. No, it's been a few years.
Okay. Because the one I've done, a couple of them, I did the African ancestry, which was interesting, so we know which tribes we came from. And usually the nomadic tribes were the ones that were more enslaved, and weren't the ones that were pretty settled. They would go get the nomads and bring them and sell them. So that's what happened. So I have Nigerian blood and I have Ghanaian blood,
Oh,
both sides, and 0.1% Korean Japanese. Now I don't know where that came from. And Filipino as
Really?
well. So I go, come on. And then I did 23 in May. Have you heard of that?
yeah.
And that's really good because it gives you your
That's the one
health status.
I've done two,
Okay,
and
I've done two as well.
they're fairly similar, but they're not exactly the same.
That's right. Same here. But I wanted to see because they don't know who you are. Only one of them asked me my ethnicity. So they don't make any mistake. But they asked me, and I said, "Well, we have to ask that." And that was the African ancestry. They wanted to know, are you African American? Because a lot of people. But anyway. So go ahead. So tell me, what did you do? What brought you to Japan in the first place?
I was a Mormon missionary
Mm-hmm.
in Kyushu. in 1972.
Mm.
So I first came to Japan December 15th, 1972.
Okay.
Was here for 2 years, mostly in Kyushu, 6 months in Okinawa, 3 months in Hiroshima.
Mm-hmm. And then how long did you, after that, did you go back?
I did.
How long did you go back?
I went back, finished college, then I came back to Japan, went to graduate school,
Mm-hmm.
taught English like everybody.
Right, right.
And then I went back and went to law school.
Mm. That's right, because you're a lawyer.
I am.
I forgot. Oh, that's why you're being careful about what you're saying right now. This, you're not gonna answer any more than you're asked. So you're what kind of law?
Well, right now I work for an insurance company, but I don't do insurance law. I do government relations.
Mm-hmm.
But I started out doing corporate law,
Mm-hmm.
corporate and securities,
Okay.
but working with Japanese clients. So I tended to do a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
I've even been to court.
You've actually done a case in court?
No, I went to court.
Okay, let's hear about it.
And it was a bankruptcy case, and my client was a creditor in the bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
And the bankruptcy lawyer didn't show up. So the judge said, is your client represented by counsel? And I said, well, he's not here yet. He said, are you admitted to the bar? I said, yes. He said, okay, let's go.
You're admitted to the Japanese bar?
No, that's a very difficult thing to do.
That's what I thought. But I know
Yeah.
there's one or two, because I think I've met one American, it was American, I believe, who actually passed the bar a long time ago.
There was one American who passed it, but his mother was Japanese.
Okay.
And he went through the Japanese education system. And
What's
he was
his name?
Graduate. I don't remember.
He's passed, hasn't he?
Yeah, but
That's who I was talking to.
It was big news.
That's
It
who. Yeah, that's
was
the
in the
person.
Nikkei. It was
Yes,
like,
it's Nikkei.
American passes the bar. I think it was maybe 30 years ago.
That's right. Yeah, I knew him, and he was a big part of the ACCJ as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I used to speak with him a lot. Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name. I don't know why. Anyway.
Well, they have the Gaikoku ho jimu bengoshi, which
Mhm.
are foreign lawyers who are admitted to practice the law of their own jurisdiction in Japan.
Oh, really?
So there are a lot of those.
Right, but they're still not. They haven't passed the Japanese
No,
bar.
the Japanese bar. I don't know what the pass rate is now, but it's very low. It's something like 2%, 3%,
Mm-hmm.
and that's for Japanese. So a lot of people take it, and very few pass it.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you're native Japanese and educated in the Japanese system, it's very hard to pass.
Mm-hmm. I think I was told by my lawyers they really change the test very often. The rules, everything change in it. I have two guys that I work with that have told me how difficult it is to pass that bar.
Yeah, when I went to the University of Tokyo, Faculty of Law, and I had a professor who thought it was very funny that he'd taken the test and failed it, and now then he was writing the questions.
That is funny.
Yeah,
He never passed.
he never passed it,
Never passed.
but he was at the University of Tokyo as a professor. He was involved in writing the questions.
Mm-hmm. What brought you back to Japan? What made you decide to come back here?
I really enjoyed Japan, and I wanted to come back, and I was going to stay a little while, but I stayed for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went back, went to law school. Part of it was I met a girl,
Okay. All
my
right.
wife.
All right.
That's one thing that I was here for 3 years. I went to graduate school, got an MA, and then went to law school, and then came back as a Fulbright scholar.
Were you dating her all this time?
Well, it was hard to date her when I was in the U.S., but
I
she
understand
did
that.
come and visit me,
Mm-hmm.
and I did.
But you
come
guys
and
still
visit- yeah,
considered,
yeah.
yeah. That was the intention for a long time, or?
It was kind of off and on, but
Okay.
when I came back, 1986, I asked her to marry me, and she didn't say yes,
Okay.
but she started planning the wedding.
And what year did you get married?
1986.
if, I'll tell you what, Alan, there's too many things in common. That's the year I
86?
got married, 1986. What month?
Let's see, November,
Okay,
Thanksgiving Day,
I got married in April,
on the way to work.
April 14th. I wasn't working that day. And then we had the after party actually here at TAC.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
at the top of TAC. We sure did.
I remember the top attack.
Yeah, that's where we did it. And I have the video and everything to prove it. No, it was a good event, a very good event. All right, so you have how many children now?
3.
3. And the oldest is?
32.
I've got you by 2 years. My oldest is 34,
Okay.
Christmas baby. And the youngest is?
I have twins.
The twins.
And they're 29.
But they're fraternal, aren't they?
They are. They're very
Right.
different.
Okay. And they're, what, boys?
They're boys.
I don't know if I've ever seen you. Have I seen your boys? I
Probably.
Probably, huh? Okay, and they're 27?
29.
29, okay, so they're a year older than my youngest, which is 28. So there's Lance, 34, and then Lucian, who's 28. And then I have Lonnie and Lewis. Wow. Did your daughter get married yet?
No, she's busy working.
Here?
Yeah, she works for Japan Times. She's an editor.
Okay.
But she's dating.
Mm-hmm. What about your sons?
One lives in Boston,
Okay.
and he works for State Street Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one lives in San Francisco, and he works for a green energy company.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Is your wife doing anything? Is she working at all, or?
She doesn't work. She teaches an English class, but
Okay.
because of COVID, she hasn't been doing it for a while.
Mm-hmm. Did she ever try to do that over Zoom?
No.
Yeah, I tried to do a little bit of my class over Zoom, and it lasted twice. I said, no, forget it. It's not going to work.
No, her students are a bit older,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're not very technologically savvy.
Mm-hmm.
She also does flower arrangement and calligraphy and sommelier. So she has a lot of extracurricular activities.
Right. Now, outside of you practicing law and working with the companies, because when you were there at AIG, what did you do with AIG?
I was the general counsel for Japan and Korea.
Okay. And how did that, how was that?
Oh, it was great. I really enjoyed it, but then somebody in London blew up the company. It went bankrupt during the financial crisis.
Which AIG?
All of it, yeah.
Hank Greenberg. Wait, hold on.
Hank Greenberg had to leave the company 5 years before that,
Right.
which was very unfortunate because he knew where everything was buried, and after he left,
Nobody else knew.
nobody knew. That was how he ensured that he would.
Always stay on.
Yeah, but the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, had an idea that he should leave, and so he had to go. And management that took over, I don't think really knew where everything was buried, and some guy in London blew up the company.
Wow. Now, when you say blew up the company, what do you mean? You mean he told everyone, or what? How did he
No,
blow up
it
the
was
company?
credit default swaps.
Mm-hmm.
So AIG was selling guarantees on these mortgage securities,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially using its balance sheet and its AAA rating.
Mm-hmm.
And management wasn't aware what was going on, and the management of financial products in London was selling these things, credit default swaps, and one thing that they hadn't calculated on was the accounting rules, and if nobody will buy it,
Mm-hmm.
the value is zero.
Okay.
So in the financial crisis, the value of these credit default swaps that AIG had sold went to zero.
Mm.
and that brought down the company.
Okay.
So the U.S. government, the Federal Reserve, and Treasury put in $180 billion, which they got back. Despite the fact that the accounting rules say that it's worth nothing, they did pay. So all the money came back.
And that's how you blew up the company.
Yes.
Okay.
There was some guy in London who was selling these things, and management wasn't aware of what was going on. And the financial crisis, a lot of companies failed. Financial services companies failed. So it wasn't a unique story, but a lot of people were blindsided by the mortgage crisis.
Right. So tell me, so what do you do outside of your hobbies? Do you still do what your daughter got mad at you for doing? Oh, she was really upset with you because you almost bit the dust. You almost bit the bullet then.
My daughter?
Your daughter got really upset with you. Really didn't want you to ever do it anymore.
Yesterday?
No. Oh, was it yesterday? Were you out? Were you out skin diving yesterday?
Oh, scuba diving.
Scuba diving? You don't remember your incident? You forget so easily. That's why she doesn't want you to do it.
Well, my daughter gets a little upset with me from time to time. But
okay. You remember that time? I think it was a couple of years back. Yeah.
I almost drowned.
Right.
But I went scuba diving after that. You have to go back.
Just me. All right, like falling off a horse, kind of.
Yeah.
So when you are revived from drowning, you got to go back.
Yeah, you have to go back.
So tell me what happened.
But take it easy.
Tell me what happened.
Unless
it's too painful. You don't remember anything.
No, I remember. We were in Los Cabos, and we were scuba diving, and I got caught in a current and separated from the group. And I remember coming up to the surface, and then I don't remember what happened until I was back on the boat, and I was coughing up seawater. So they took me to the hospital.
Okay, so tell me what happened. People must have told you what happened.
Oh, no one was there. The boat came back and found me. I was floating in the water face down. And
so your oxygen had gone out or something? You weren't aware of it, or what happened?
I remember coming to the surface and struggling with my equipment, and then I don't remember.
You know, okay. You'd taken your mouthpiece out.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Never do that.
That's what you did. So that's what you did.
I
And then you
must
took
have.
it, and then you took in a lot of water. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's the first and only time that's ever happened to you.
I got the bends once.
How deep do you have to go to get the bends?
I don't know what happened. I think there was maybe some bad air in the tank, because
That can
we
happen
had
too?
we had a dive computer, and I never went down too deep, and I was never down too long. But this was an Izu, and I came up and was taking a shower, which is not a good idea. Hot water right after scuba diving is not really a good idea. But I was taking a shower, and my legs started to tingle. And I thought, this isn't good. And I'm in the shower. I locked the door. So I better put on my swimming trunks again and unlock the door and get out of here. And I walked out, and the scuba guy, Japanese-American guy, he starts talking to me. And people often say, if you're a lawyer, they say, I have a friend, right? So he's trying to get some free legal advice. And I said, this is great. We can talk about it later, but I think I need to sit down right now because my legs are tingling. And it kept going up and up. So they called an ambulance, and they took me to a heliport, put me on a helicopter, and flew me to Tokai University, and put me in the
Tank.
The decompression chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really boring.
But that was the only pain you had, was the tingling?
No, it kept going up and up, and so that made them worried. They put me on the helicopter and gave me oxygen, and that made it a lot better. I'm not sure it actually was the bends.
Okay. Because I heard that's supposed to be excruciating when you have the bends. It really makes you feel like
Yeah,
you're
I think
inside.
it was bad air in the tank. Or it could have been something else. Who
Mhm.
knows? But
And you've
anyway,
never been stung by anything that's like jellyfish? I'm sure you had a lot of jellyfish stings. But
once in a while.
you're wearing your weight suit most of the
Right.
time, right? So you can't feel
Once
that.
in a while, but not that bad.
Right. I used to snorkel a lot when I lived in Puerto Rico. So tell me, what are some of the more exciting things that have happened to you underwater?
Underwater.
Not in the negative. I mean, did you see anything close to you? Any stingrays up close to you, or any
Oh,
shark, or
yeah.
anything?
Sharks.
What's the most exciting thing that's happened to you underwater?
Well, I took my kids and went swimming with sharks in Bermuda.
Okay.
That was great.
All right.
Got some great photos.
Sand sharks?
Reef sharks.
Okay. All
And let's see, manta rays in Ishigaki,
right.
in Okinawa. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
They're as big as Volkswagens.
Okay.
Swim with them. I think the best thing about scuba diving maybe is not going deep or seeing big animals. It's just kind of going somewhere where it's shallow and lots of colors, calming. So snorkeling is fine too.
Right. Well, that's what I do, a lot of snorkeling. Yeah. But you and I grew up with sea hunt. So
Yeah.
we had to go down deep. You had to go through all those things. That was so neat, sea hunt.
Black and white.
That was so good, but it didn't matter. It was
Yeah,
fantastic.
it was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So what do you do? Outside of that as a hobby here in Japan?
What do I do as a hobby? Good question.
You
I'm
just
not
read a
sure.
lot. You just read a lot.
I do read a lot.
Because the last time I spoke to you, you didn't have a job. But when did you start working again? That might have been a year or
I
so
left
ago.
AIG in 2010, and I started with my current company in 2011. So
Oh, really?
I was a consultant
Okay.
for about 9 months.
That was the only time that you really.
Yeah.
But now it's really a full-time employment. You know.
Well, actually, I retired when I turned 65,
Right.
and the company hired me back as a contract employee. So I work 4 days a week, which is great.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's why you see you don't do anything. Okay.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it? Are you still enjoying it?
I do. I really enjoy my job.
Mhm.
It's interesting work. It's government relations, so and it's for Asia. So I get to work with people in a lot of different countries. It was much better when I got to travel because I would go and actually experience the culture and the food and get to meet people. I hope we get back to that.
Yeah, so do I. When was the last time you were in the States?
Last month, I went for my
Same here.
dad's funeral.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not Jan. I was there to help my mother clean out her garage. She's 92,
Okay.
and that was fun. So, much longer do you plan on living in Japan?
Oh, I don't know. No reason to leave.
So you
Where
think
would I
this-
go?
I don't know that much about. I'm trying to find out about you, but you're only giving me a little bit every time. Just so you're not telling me any more than I need to know.
Lance, I don't know. I have no plans to leave.
You have no plans to leave.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd want to be institutionalized in Japan.
You think you're going that route?
Yeah, I hope I'm like my dad.
All right. Just
Pop off.
have me right. Pop off. Don't put me in an old folks home.
Right.
But do you have properties here?
I own my apartment.
Okay. And that's right around the corner from here, right? That's
Shirokaneda.
okay. Right. You don't have a villa or anything like that?
No.
You didn't do that?
No.
You ever done that too? I'm
Think
thinking
about
about
it.
it. So do I. I think about it too. 'Cause like Roger Marshall, those guys, Shimoda, and it was
The Izuvians.
Izuians, right? And then you have the Chibians, the Bozai guys, that like Bozai Peninsula. I was over there the other day. Wow. So when did you join the club? What year did you join the American club?
1994.
Okay, I got you beat there. I joined in '88
Mm.
because I got married here in '86. Then I said, I might as well become a member. But I'd already done so much with the club. That's why I was able to have my wedding here, or my reception here in '86. And then I said, after the second son, because Lance was born in '86, and then Lewis was born in '88. I said, I want them to be in this environment, so I think I'll become a member. So I became a member in '88. Never passed, never changed. Have you never done anything on the board here? Why? You want to keep it separate?
I enjoy the club. I enjoy the facilities. And I know a lot of people who've been in the leadership.
So it makes you think that you want to continue to enjoy the club and
Right.
the facility. My goodness. Look, anything you like to, do you have a blog or anything like that? Or
No, I don't.
there's nothing you're selling? Well, I don't usually
You want
promote
some
anything like
insurance?
that. I don't. I have plenty of
No,
that.
I work for a reinsurance company, so
Okay,
I
so
can't
they-
sell you anything.
you can't sell anything,
No.
right? Nothing.
Unless you're an insurance company.
Right. But thank you. Look, I want to thank you for doing the podcast. What kind of work did your father do?
He worked for a life insurance company,
Okay.
which is what I did.
Same thing. But was he? What did he do? You say work for? What was his job there?
He was the head of the mortgage loan department.
Okay.
So
Did he have a law degree as well?
No,
Okay.
he just a BA.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a little kid, he used to, in the summer, put me in the car. We'd drive around and we'd look at real estate, and he'd kind of appraise it, decide whether the company was going to take the mortgage on the property. So I have some very good memories of riding around with my dad in the summer, taking pictures of buildings with a Polaroid camera.
Mm-hmm. That's something. Your mother, did she work at all? Or was
She did. She, when I was very small, she played in the Utah Symphony. She was a violinist.
Mm-hmm.
And when my brother was born, there was 3 kids, so it was a little difficult to continue to work in the symphony because they travel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So she left the symphony. She started teaching violin
Mm-hmm.
at home,
Mm-hmm.
and she was very good at it. She made almost as much money as my dad.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
My goodness. Did
Teach
you ever
about-
take up any instruments?
My mother was very keen on me playing the piano.
And you did for how many
Well,
years?
she started me when I was 5.
Okay.
I was too young. And my aunt was my teacher, so she didn't scare me very much. And I talked my mother out of making me continue it when I was about 6.
Okay.
So I regret that I didn't keep up with it or start it up again later.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I were like you and could play the saxophone.
I just started that 4 years ago. I never played an instrument. Well, my mother
And
did
now
have
you're
me.
John Coltrane.
Take me, but close. Huge Groove. He's a saxophonist and he plays tenor sax, and his sound I really like. All I listen to mostly is saxophone music, smooth jazz. I like that style.
You should pick up some Branford Marsalis.
I probably have some of his, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to remember all the names. If I just go to my iPod, I have so many different guys to play. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I can play. I'm convincing myself that I play better than most. People that are just starting to play. I think I play okay. And I can read music now. I've taught myself to be able to read.
That's cool.
But I still haven't played in front
I've
of
forgotten how to read music twice.
What do you mean?
I learned it when I was playing piano as a very small child, and then in junior high, you take music and you have to learn how to read music.
Mm-hmm.
So I've forgotten how to read music twice.
Do you do a lot of reading?
I do. Particularly fond of history and biography.
Mm-hmm. What type of history? Of what?
Well, all kinds, but I'm particularly interested in World War II.
Okay.
The Korean War is also interesting. The Vietnam War. Wars
Mhm.
are interesting.
Okay. So like that.
Very
And then
good.
what else did you say? You said that and history and
And biography.
and biography. Like whose?
Well, for example, Winston Churchill.
Okay.
The most interesting person, I think, was Ricard Zorge.
And he is
He's a spy
okay.
in Japan. He was.
He's a French spy.
No, he's German.
German. Ricard Zorge. It sounds like a
Ricard
French name.
Zorge.
Oh, Zorge. I thought you said Zorge.
Yeah, he lived just down the street. He was a German.
Mm-hmm.
His mother was Russian, but he was German. He fought in World War I.
Mm-hmm.
He was a reporter for a German newspaper stationed in Japan during World War II, and he was having an affair with the wife of the military attaché at the German embassy, and getting all kinds of information and sending it back to Moscow, where Stalin didn't believe him. He ended up getting caught by the Japanese and he was executed.
Okay.
But it's a very fascinating.
How many years did that go on that he was able to be a spy?
Almost the entire war.
So how long was that? How
4
long was
years.
4 years?
4 years at least. I think
Okay.
from he'd been a reporter in China, and then he came to Japan at the before the war even started.
World War One.
He fought in World War One in
When he
Germany.
fought it, okay.
And then he became a reporter, and they sent him to China, and then he came to Japan. The biographies are not that well written,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a fascinating person.
Mm-hmm.
So even if the prose isn't that great, the story is so enthralling.
Mm.
So you should read about
Who
Ricard's
told you? Friend, someone just recommended that to you, or how did you find out about it?
I don't know. I think
No.
I maybe was in a bookstore and
Okay,
saw the book
something,
and
so-
bought it.
Okay.
But I have a couple. If you'd like, I'd lend you one.
Right. Well, I'm not that interested in biographies. Have you ever thought about writing a book, or have you written a book?
Did I ever write a book?
You wouldn't.
No.
You would know if you've written a book. I'm not
No,
talking.
but I
about-
did. When I was a Fulbright scholar, I did
Okay.
write
what do they call it?
treatise.
Yes. You have to do. You have to, don't you?
You don't have to.
You don't have to. Okay.
I
But you
know
did.
some people didn't finish theirs.
Okay.
I finished mine and it got published.
Mm-hmm.
Georgetown University's School of Law published my treatise in 1986.
The same year you got married.
Yeah, how about that?
See, all these things are connecting. Just
Right.
connecting the dots. Have you thought about doing your memoir about your life? Well, if I can't get anything out of you here, I'm sure that you can tell anybody in writing. Really, but so you're not going to do a memoir. No, wait, hold it. Mormons have a tradition of writing their diary,
A
journal, and they give it to their first son, or to all their kids. I thought it was the first son.
It's news to me.
But you've heard of it. They write a journal, and it's for the son, I think. I'm not, maybe
When
the
you're
others
more
will do it.
missionary, they tell you to keep a journal.
Right.
They tell you you should.
Mhm.
I think I maybe put 3 or 4 entries in mine.
Did your father do one?
No,
But was he a practicing Mormon? Or was
very.
He? Okay. And he never did a journal?
No,
Okay.
not that I know of.
Okay. Because I did hear that, because I was, I have quite a few Mormon friends, so.
Yeah, I think that the church does encourage people to keep a journal,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like a requirement.
Have you been in the new one? The new church?
Where?
Right here, right across
No.
from Alisgar Park.
No,
No one has been in, have they? Because of COVID.
I don't know.
I don't think you can go in it.
Oh,
I don't know. I was wondering. I don't know if you can congregate now. I don't think they're allowed to do that. So I think that's only open since COVID. I mean, it's been completed since COVID started.
I've driven by it.
Yeah, I always do every day. I do it every day, almost, because I live by here. My
Yeah.
goodness! But I want to go in it because I've been in the old one. I went there because I tell you I went through all 6 or 7 lessons. How many lessons were there? Because you were you were doing that because
Yeah.
you did the flip chart,
Yeah.
and you did the flip chart at the same. Since we're the same age, and I know when I did it, I was already in my 20s. You were using the same flip chart. But listen, Allan, I want to thank you for taking the
Thank
time.
you, guys.
And I want to thank you for agreeing to come here. Every time you say, you said,
I
sure. I
enjoyed
said,
it.
why not? You said, what are we going to talk about? And I just found out. Thank you. I want to thank all of you for watching this podcast. Make sure that you continue to reach for the stars. Remember, it's all unknown, and you're too blessed to be stressed.